Why does it matter if former President Trump was subpoenaed today?
Well, first you have what the Congress actually said today, which is they want accountability, which is really typical, which is, if there's somebody who's the central character, which is sort of Hamlet, you want to have, a play which has got Hamlet at the center stage and hear from him. And also you don't want the committee to be sort of criticized so that it's like, well, why didn't you give him an opportunity to be heard? And this is his opportunity to come and explain himself. So I think it's a good step that they did it. I'd be interested in what you all think, because I would say that the chances that he's going to testify are somewhere between slim and none. As a matter of fact, closer to none than slim. And that's probably in part because I was on the special counsel investigation where, that started out with the former president saying, of course, I'm going to testify and I'm happy to meet with them and I'm glad to be interviewed. And that was his story, up one side and down the other. But when push came to shove, he didn't sit for an interview.
Let's unpack that, and then I'll bring in Maya, because, yes, you have such primary experience. As I mentioned, he lies. So he lies both ways. In the New York case, which is civil, he lied about not cooperating, and then, as I said, he did. In the Mueller case, which you were involved in, he lied about cooperating. He thought that fit a narrative he wanted. He's not afraid of Andrew Weissmann or Bob Mueller. I don't mean to personalize it, but in the end, he and his lawyers were apparently afraid of something, because they didn't come in and just say, hey, here's what happened. I know that some of those, you said Slim? I know some of those Russia meetings were shady, Slim shady. No, but here's the answer. I can explain it. People, I'm sure you would agree, sometimes are able to explain things and get in less trouble. So When you look at lying in both directions, why do you think this is one where he wants to run?
So there's no real upside for him. He can go ahead to the public and tell his stories. If you analogize this to what's happening in the Mar-a-Lago case, he can say, you know what, I declassified everything. And you know what, all of these were planted. But he has never said that in court. He didn't say it to the special master. He didn't say it in the district court. He didn't say it in the 11th Circuit. And he didn't say it to the Supreme Court. Why? Because it's a crime if you lie to a court.
Right.
Same reason he didn't actually say anything in the impeachment hearings, either one or two. So he wants to avoid, essentially jail. So, that's a smart strategy. If you're his defense lawyer, you're sitting there telling him there's no way you should do this. Just go ahead and say whatever you're going to say publicly, but don't do it in a forum where you can actually be held to account.
And taking it to Maya, now that this is a legal fact, he could cooperate, he could refuse. That alone could be the committee's way of, as Andrew mentioned, showing the nation the guy can't tell you anything under oath. Or second, perhaps less likely, given the timeline, they could ultimately hold him in contempt for defying the subpoena, as they've done with other aides. What do you see as their legal options or road?
Well, look, I actually agree with Andrew on the 0 to none here. And look, they're
slim to none.
Slim. Okay.
0 to none is just the same.
I actually think 0 to none is probably more accurate.
I saw his tweet earlier, and I saw the word 0 in it. So just holding Andrew accountable to his social media.
Maybe he changed his mind in 20 minutes. I don't know.
Look, I think Andrew's exactly right that there is no upside for Donald Trump to actually testify. And what we do know is consistent behavior from him is he will always stonewall, particularly if it's not to his advantage.
So then do they move to contempt or no?
I think what we heard from Benny Thompson, or at least the way I hear Benny Thompson when he said, look, this was a very serious decision. We understand that there are arguments on all sides of this. We are weighing it and saying that we're going to subpoena him. But that's a very far call from them saying that they're going to actually test what many will perceive as an argument of constitutional limits. I will just say this. We should remember that the prosecutors reporting to Leon Jaworski in the Richard Nixon case on the day that he was pardoned evaluated this and said that there was absolutely no reason not to.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber. Thanks for watching The Beat. I wanted to let you know I'm writing a foreword to the January 6th committee's full report, which is coming out soon from HarperCollins. You can go pre-order the book right now, and it'll come to you first when the report comes out in the fall or whenever the government releases it. Just search Melber Jan 6 on Amazon or your favorite independent book site and click pre-order. You'll be the first to get both the report and my new piece on the coup conspiracy. You can also go to melberbook.com and order it there.